Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to AIM Impact on Your Health. AIM Impact on Your Health, where every day our goal is to have you learn at least one thing to help you live better and longer. AIM Impact on Your Health is heard each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney, and I'm with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. AIM Impact on Your Health, where each day you'll find current medical news, knowledgeable guests, fascinating health topics, and of course, where we do encourage you to call in to join in today. Well, I'm back, folks, and had a wonderful opportunity. I'll share so much with you about the top docs, the 20 top docs of America, a program I just participated in out in Phoenix, Arizona. It was the launching of a book, which I'll be talking to you about. 20 top docs. I was honored to be recognized as one of them. 19 others were also there. We all presented to just a wonderful 3-4 day conference-style setup, and culminated in a wonderful gala event, black tie event on Saturday night. And I'll spend some time talking about in just a moment. I've got to try to bring you up to speed on what we're going to be doing today. I'll give you a brief report today on the top docs of America, and then about 1:30, we'll take the break, and we'll meet up with Susie Weiss. Now, this is the week that Susie will be in my office. She'll have that group that she'll meet, and then has had many of them sign up to be scanned. That's really what this particular Thursday is going to be all about. If you think you'd like to be scanned, this is a Zeta scan where Susie spends about 30-40 minutes with you and learns exactly how it might be that essential oils may help you, and where your weaknesses are, where she can actually prescribe the various essential oils that may be there for your rescue. So we're going to get with Susie today. By the way, she also pinch hit. I'm dying to ask her. She pinch hit it for Boyd Haley, who had some conflict come up. Airlines canceled out. Boyd Haley never made it up there to the Freedom of Choice and Cancer Therapy group, but Susie Wise took over. I'm dying to find out how that went. So that's what we're going to be accomplishing today. In terms of the picture that's shaping up here for the rest of the month for sure, tomorrow we start our May I program. Now, it's absolutely too late for anybody to become involved with it. It's just everything is put into play. All the records have been sent to Dr. Edward Conrad. The microcurrent devices have been programmed specifically for each patient involved with it. And so we kick off a 3-day program with the group of tomorrow. I'll be reporting back how well they do on Thursday. That's a pledge, because people that come in with these terrible eye conditions like macular degeneration and glaucoma and diabetic retinopathy and the cataract situation too get evaluated on day 1, and then they get reevaluated on day 3, and there is always a major, I mean major, change that we can expect to see in those patients who have just been so beat up and so dejected and so fearful because their vision continues to be lost. And they're told by their doctors, well, unfortunately, there's not a thing that can be done about it, and that's got to be a terrible blow in the gut, just a punch in the gut if you happen to be seeing your vision fly away. But good news is around the corner, because the Ed Conrad programs we've been involved with now personally since July, and Ed has created over the last 10 years, can rescue you. Mentioning it so much, I can't do much about this particular group, the May group, but I can tell you right now the June group will have its 3-day eye treatment protocol offered on the 17th, 18th, and 19th of June. So find out more about it. Give us a call here at the office. You want to talk to Sarah, and the number to do that is 724-942-3002. Sarah will get the information you need and try to bring you up to speed, or your loved one, or their neighbor, or whoever it is that you think might benefit. Pass it on to give us a call, and we'll take it from there. Next week, now you won't know, but on the 27th, I'll be interviewing very accomplished naturopathic doctor, actually was on the faculty at Bastyr, some administrative capacity too. Anyway, we're going to be doing an interview off air. I got to ask Bill about it next Tuesday, because it's just too early for him to get up. It's 5 o'clock in the morning out there. Not everybody's like Dr. Vavavavo. Anyway, we're going to pre-record the show with him and then bring it to you immediately following. So there you go. That's my schedule, but I'm sharing it with you because it's ultimately going to be your schedule. I'm going to bring Ed Condrat back with us. You know, he's the brainchild behind the top docs of America, the top 20 doctors of America, and he conceived it, he gave it birth, and it really did flourish and just took hold this past weekend in Phoenix. I'll be talking more about that, as I already mentioned. And then looking into the month of June, we have Dr. Vavavavoom herself, Dr. Susie Smith-Jones. She's going to be our guest on Wednesday the 4th. She's going to be talking about sleep. Now, there are a whole bunch of things shaping up in the background that are going to be parlayed off of this Top 20 Alternative Doctors Conference. I mentioned many times that I would be leaving last week to attend it, that I was honored to be considered as one of these top docs, and I was with the finest group of physicians in the country this past weekend in Phoenix, Arizona, where they had their big gala event. The reason and the festivities for why the event is the launching of a new book. I actually have a copy of it. It's a little weird to see my name in print. Never has happened before. But we have a book that was launched called The 20 Top Docs in America, and they're really spill-offs of the interviews that Dr. Condrat did with various doctors over the course of time in his role as a HEMA president. Now, you don't know about a HEMA. A HEMA stands for Arizona Homeopathic Integrative Medicine Association. It is a very unique association in that Arizona and only one other state, Nevada, actually have a special licensure for medical doctors who want to have one additional accolade that they can offer and really show the depth of what they do beyond medicine, and that is in the area of homeopathy. Well, in the early 1980s, this was created, and it has its own medical review board, its own rules and so forth that govern it, and it has become and allowed Arizona to be the haven for all of the roughed-up doctors throughout the country who have been persecuted where they happen to have been raised and where their original practices are, and they just flock now to Arizona to become a member of a HEMA, this Arizona Homeopathic and Integrative Medicine Association. Now, the conference itself is a brainchild of Dr. Ed Condrat, and it's one of the few times, and I have to really commend this HEMA group. I've spoken in front of audiences under their rubric before, and it's the only place I've ever spoken where there's a mixture. The audience is a mixture. Usually, everywhere I go, it's only doctors. I mean, they're osteopaths or they're MDs. In some states, they're naturopaths, but they are doctors. In this particular situation, they also have lay patients or lay people and patients. So out there in the crowd is the very group that we're trying to treat at all times, but they're invited in and they're encouraged to participate. And I just thought, and I do think that it adds an extra dimension to what we do, to see the patients and the afflicted ones there in the audience right along with us. And I don't find it happening in any other group, and I think HEMA should be commended. They, of course, were in wide attendance. A couple hundred people attended this thing. Anyway, the format went something like this. Each doctor, each one of the 20, gave a workshop, a lengthy workshop, 2.5 hours of a workshop. And oddly enough, it took me 2 hours and 29 minutes to cover the issues that I wanted to cover, literally nonstop. And I didn't see anybody budge. They were in their seats, and they stayed there. And I had 1 whole minute for questions at the end of it. And then the other part of this was that each one of the 20 docs, besides having a workshop, presented to the large group in the last 2 days of the conference, and they had 1 hour to do that. So total of 3.5 hours to present, 2.5 on one day, and a workshop the other, a 1 hour presentation held just one after another, all 20 docs getting an opportunity to present their message in the way that they offer their treatment. And it's all over the board, folks. What they do is so unique. They have perfected a particular skill, a particular therapy, and they share it with you. Now, as I hear them tell their stories, there's usually a pattern that emerges, and the pattern goes something like this. They either had been medically afflicted themselves, and to hear the stories about how tragic things were going for them at one time, and that every one of the conventional medical doctors that took a crack at trying to get them out of their predicament failed. You're not surprised by that. But here they were saying, you know what, this medicine of mine isn't really helping me. I got to find another way. And they found those other ways. And then they sort of moved toward and embraced those other ways. And that's pretty much the way it goes. And they said, you know what, this has been so helpful to me. I think I need to be schooled and educated on this particular malady and correction, and I need to bring it to the public. And that's their story in some cases. In other cases, it truly is governmental persecution that led them to Arizona. I say they're all clustered there. This Phoenix, Arizona area is just teeming with medical professionals from all over the country that, because of the oppression that they've experienced in their own state, literally have forced them out of the state. You know, when I hear a doctor tell me, and I'll bring this particular doctor on board, you'll have an opportunity to hear him tell his own story. But when I hear the doctor beginning his discussion with something like this, well, I'm Dr. So-and-so, and I'm board certified in this, and I'm board certified in that. And by the way, I gave up all those board certifications at a certain date in a certain state because really they were coming after me. And when I hear a doctor talk about giving up a board certification, I'd never heard anything so absurd before. To think that they worked so hard to become board certified in a particular specialty and then give it up, turn it in, that speaks volumes. You don't have to say much more to me than what must that situation have been. Was it that onerous? And evidently it was. At that time, by those state agencies, against that individual, that they said, I gotta bail out of here. They'll probably lift my license, and I need to be proactive because there's a whole host of problems that come to you if you're a doctor, and you lose your license by having it lifted from a state. So they turn them in, they give them up, and they run like heck to Arizona. And Ahima appears to be that place that there's an open embrace awaiting them. And everyone I talk to, the bulk of the people of the 20 top docs, they're all from the Phoenix area. I mean, they aren't originally from the Phoenix area, but they sure are now. Now, as you would expect, I'll be bringing them to you. I mean, I went around feverishly as they were coming off from their talk. I was usually waiting at the bottom of the stairs that led to the podium, and I explained who I was because a lot of people really didn't know who the heck I was until I presented, but I was there in the wings saying, you know what, I do a radio show in my Pittsburgh area. My listeners have to hear your message. And so over and over and over again, and without one single protest, everyone says, absolutely, I'll do it. They're looking forward, folks. So as you can expect, you're going to be almost taken there, transported there by having the message delivered to you. And I will enjoy over the summer. That's, I think, is going to be our goal. There's 20 docs. I can only interview 19 of them. I'll get all 19 of them here, and I'll be sharing with you who those 19 are. But after hearing them present to both the doctors and the lay people in the audience, it's no wonder why they were asked to become the 20 top doctors. I may never have heard of them, but you're all going to hear from them now. Their messages are powerful. Their expertise is unmatched. Their success rates go through the roof. You here in the Pittsburgh market need to know they're out there. I'll give you a way that you can actually obtain each one of their talks. And you can actually, as though you were there, benefit from each one of these lectures as time goes on too. So I'm just very excited that the Phoenix Connection turned out to have a great message and a conclusion with this book. I'm looking at this book. This book has my name plastered all over it, but 19 other talks. Learn how the top, here's the title, Learn how the top 20 alternative doctors in America can improve your health. And I'll be talking about how you can get a hold of this book too, which was just launched a few days ago. And there weren't even enough books to sell. They just got the first batch, and they gave each of us a copy. And I got one sitting on my desk. So if you come to see me in the office, I'll let you leaf through it while you're waiting to get on in here. And then I'll give you a way that you can actually pick up the publication itself. I'll tell you also what happened. You know, those lay people sitting in the audience. They are afflicted with disorders, and they are in that audience because they can't find the kind of therapies that is going to change the course of their current disease in their own backyard. At least that's how I figure it out now, that they came all the way, and they came from all over the country. They came out to Arizona, and they were there looking for how it might be that their particular problem can be dealt with. Now, I'm thinking about one couple. I came from Kansas City, and they happened to approach me after I presented my particular topic, which was about cardiovascular disease. You know, the Courtney 18 labs. It's pretty much my moniker. It's got my name written all over it. So I presented how we treat cardiovascular disease here. And as I exited the stage, I was approached by this couple who were talking about their particular medical status at the time. The gentleman had a heart attack not too long ago. And he's looking in Kansas City. He's looking to try to get somebody to manage him that actually makes a difference. And he knew he wasn't finding it. So he comes up to me and says, boy, he's really interested in pursuing the kind of program that I was describing to him. So as I normally do, I'm trying to think, well, you know what? In the Kansas City area, I'll try to help you find a doctor who might be able to follow some of the principles that I talked about here and help you find a doctor that actually does this technique called ECP, because you really, with cardiovascular disease, you must be involved in a program with ECP. To miss that particular potential benefit would really not be able to get you anywhere near optimally, and they understood that. And so they just finally came out and said, now look, even if you can find a doctor in my backyard, which I don't think you're going to find, okay, and they sort of know their area well, I go, I tell you what, we want to come to you. And I said, hey, that's a little awkward because, I mean, I don't mind consulting you to go over these labs, but, you know, we do ECP here, and it just doesn't make sense for you to come out and stay in the Pittsburgh area either 3.5 weeks or 7 weeks. I said, won't hear of it. No problem here. And it was then I knew that they weren't interested in anybody in Kansas City. As much as I tried, they will be coming here. I promise, by the way, that when they come, I'll interview them on the airway with you and let them tell you what the heck it was that spurred them on to receive this kind of care this far away from home by little old me. And I'd like to hear that explanation myself. And so I promise to share it with you anyway. That's how it went. Now, the particular radio shows I have already signed up, because we always talk about this right now, our schedule, the up-and-coming guests. Well, the schedule begins in June. I have procured and secured a number of the docs. Let me go through and briefly talk about the few that I've already procured. I just promise you that all 19 of the top 20, I can't interview myself, folks. all 19 of the top docs will end up coming on this show. They're looking forward to it. Their messages are powerful. And it will kicked off, it looks like the first guest, boy, how powerful is he? He's going to be on June 4th. So you can just jot these down. These are shows you do not want to miss. On June 4th, we're going to have Dr. David Steenbach. He's a DO. He's out in Long Beach, California. And he's been a maverick as long as I've known him. And I have known of him, we've known him personally and known of him for the last 20 years. And 20 years ago, he was a trendsetter out there, and he's certainly a trendsetter now. He works in the area of stem cells, and that's what we're going to be talking about on Wednesday, June 4th. On June 9th, excuse me, the gentleman who literally ran out of Missouri, gave up all of his board certifications. His name is Carl Robinson. He's now pleasantly tucked away in the Phoenix area. His name is Carl Robinson. He's going to be talking about toxicities, in particular aluminum. On the 11th of June, we have Dr. Mike Margolis. Now, he's a dentist. He's a biological dentist. And he, too, practiced. I'm telling you, most of these guys practice in the Phoenix area. He's in Mesa, Arizona. He's going to be our guest on the 11th. On the 16th, Dr. Mark Starr is going to be our guest, one of the other of the top 20 docs. And he's very heavily invested in thyroid disease. And he convinced me that thyroid correction can actually reverse cardiovascular disease. Nobody's ever done that before, or at least nobody's ever presented to me how it is that if you correct thyroid, I've been correcting thyroid for a long time, most prevalently with the ladies. Oh no, men, you deserve your shot too. Cardiovascular disease can really be aided and be conquered, and I'll let him tell his story about that on the 16th. On the 18th, Dr. Lee Cowden is going to be our guest, another one of the top 20, also practices in the Phoenix area, and he's got an interesting background. He is a board-certified cardiologist, and his talk to the group was on cancer treatment. And we talked a little bit outside because he heard me present on when I was presenting on, and we had a kinship there. He's a cardiologist. I'm an anesthesiologist, and we were talking outside. And he said, I got an interesting story about that. I sent a patient to Dr. Steven Sinatra. You know Dr. Sinatra. He's been on the show many times. He's a cardiologist rock star, and that he's sort of bridged the gap between the alternative and the conventional doctors. He is equally embraced by both groups. Anyway, I sent a patient to Dr. Sinatra, and he was calling Dr. Sinatra up late in the evening one night to find out how that consult went with the patient that he sent to have Dr. Sinatra evaluate. And Sinatra said to him, you know, Dr. Cowden, this is a patient who has stage 4 metastatic cancer. And Dr. Cowden said, yes, I know, but he has cardiovascular issues too, and that's why I sent him to you, Dr. Sinatra. And he goes, hey, aren't you a cardiologist? And Dr. Cowden said, yes, in fact, I am. He goes, well, what's a cardiologist doing treating somebody for cancer? And Dr. Cowden's answer was, I thought, very telling. He said, well, that's what he had. And I just love that answer to Dr. Sinatra. That's what he had. Dr. Cowden becomes a doctor that wherever he needs to go forgetting about his specialty, he'll go there, and he'll do it in a way that no one else can. You're going to love hearing from Dr. Cowden. He's on the 18th of June. And I will flip to another doctor who's going to be with us, a dentist, right now scheduled for July 14th. And way in the future, his name is Nicholas Meyer. He's a biological dentist. We'll have him aboard. Another one of the top 20 docs. So as it stands right now, 2, 4, 6. I've got 6 doctors scheduled. I got some scheduling to go, but I already have that task laid out for myself. I promise you that over the summer, we will get all 19 of them. I can't interview myself. All 19 of them on board, and you'll learn their message, and we'll give you in up-and-coming shows a way you can actually obtain a copy, a DVD if you want, of the presentations that they gave. I think, well, I ordered them. I'm getting all of them because it's a treasure that I will cherish for years. But as you listen to these docs, you can just literally pick and isolate and determine, well, I'd like to have that one, or I'd like to have that one, and I'll show you how to do it, and I'll show you how to get the book too. So that's the way it went. Ahima, great job. Top docs, your outstanding work is now in posterity, down for posterity in the form of a book, and your presentations. And now you have to get all the accolades by coming on my show, and they will be here, and I promise over the next 3 months to get them all. All right, let's do this. Let's take a short break. And in the interim, we're going to go find Susie. She's going to be here in my office this Thursday. She hit the ball out of the park last Thursday. I'm going to ask all about her pinch hit for Boyd Haley. What shoes to fill, but what a person to fill them. Be right back with Susie.
Natural hormone replacement therapy.
Alrighty, we got her. Give me a few.
Okay, thank you.
Safe and effective alternative therapy.
Susie, are you out there?
I am. Good morning.
Hello, good morning to you. Thanks for coming aboard, dear.
You're welcome.
I am really anxious to hear you recap last Thursday night and how that all happened, because I got good reports back on how well you did. Well, that doesn't surprise me about the good reports, but you were sort of caught off guard there and had to do some pinch hitting.
Absolutely.
But
yeah.
when you're as loaded as you are with the information on this, it was like just a minor hiccup, and I'm sure you. And I'll let you tell that story anyway. And then I noticed you want to talk about the event as well as infectious diseases where the essential oils can be helpful. So that'll be our agenda today.
That's great.
Okay. Did you hear me talk about the Top Doc conference, by the way?
I actually didn't get a chance to hear you this morning.
Oh boy, I'm back from Phoenix. I'm having a ball with these groups of doctors that we're presenting out there, and I'm going to bring them all on board over the course of a few months. Here we go. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AIM Impact on Your Health. Heard here on KHB 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney with you today on the Monday morning of the show, post Top 20 Doctors AHIMA Conference from Phoenix, Arizona. But we're back into the groove because we got some things shaking around here that you've all become familiar with. And one of those things that you're very interested in, I know this because we get a lot of calls from you, and then you keep on coming out to show your enthusiasm for essential oils. Now, we got an expert on essential oils. She has amassed quite a bit of knowledge and is able to impart that knowledge to you. She's able to excite you enough to come on out and become a part of her monthly free seminar. This is usually held first Thursday of the month. And then she comes out for an additional day, and that's going to become this Thursday, where she'll actually do individual scans. I'll let her talk about that with you in just a moment. Of course, this individual is dynamite. She's a small package, but she packs quite a wallop. Her name is Susie Weiss. I'm going to say good morning and welcome back, Susie. Thanks for coming aboard today.
You're welcome. Good morning, everybody.
You all know Susie because she's been here frequently. She's going to be here many more times in the future, too. But I got to ask you, Susie, last Thursday, we were scheduled to have the Freedom of Choice in Cancer Therapy group. Boyd Haley had been lined up for at least 2 months. And I don't know, was it that he had his airline, his flight got canceled or something like that? Anyway, he couldn't show. And they were searching, didn't search too long, they were searching for someone to fill those very big shoes. Susie, they picked you.
They did.
Tell me how that all happened and tell us, listeners, how it went last Thursday night up there, because you were the pinch hitter. Go ahead.
Okay, well, it was very comical because on Wednesday of last week, I had gotten a call from the organizer of the event, and we had arranged for me to be the speaker in June. And I thought I have plenty of time, to get my talk ready. And I've been thinking about it a little bit, but I just moved a week ago, so things are in boxes, and
oh yeah, you recently moved.
I'll get to all of that when it's time, Then on Thursday around 2:00, the organizer called me to say that Dr. Haley was stuck in the Cincinnati airport and could not get here before the talk, and could I please fill in? And I describe it as I had a peaceful panic.
I'll bet.
I kind of thought, okay, I think I could do this, but at the same time, knowing that I had to leave for Pittsburgh within 2 hours to get there, traffic and everything else, it took me an hour and 45 minutes to get to Oakmont because of the traffic. I knew I didn't have a lot of time to put something together. And I do like to do a PowerPoint because I think it gives people a chance to see some of the pictures and, get some of the information that they can copy down while we're talking. But I knew it had to be kind of, geared to whatever the group wanted, and also give them an overview of essential oils. So it actually went very, very well. We thought more people at the meeting would be familiar with essential oils because they're so into natural healing.
Yeah, they're savvy, no doubt about it.
Yeah, but like I'm finding in a lot of places, but for some reason essential oils seems to be something, and I think part of it is because so many of the oils in the United States are just perfume grade. They're not used for medicine because they're really just nice scents, and that's what a lot of people thought when they heard that Dr. Haley wasn't going to make it and I was going to be talking on essential oils. I had several people tell me they thought, no, I don't want to know how to just make my house smell good, and
Yeah.
So therapeutic essential oils is something that really only Young Living is providing. So if they're not familiar with Young Living, they're not familiar with therapeutic grade essential oils. And so I did a basic, talk on what are these oils, how do you use them, and then we dove into a number of topics, and we talked for probably a good 2 hours. I took a lot of questions, and then at the end, people stayed another hour and a half. I didn't leave there till 11 o'clock.
Oh, that's the way they are.
Yeah, it was great. They were a great group, and I have a lot of follow-up to do because I told them I would, a lot of them that I would call, follow up with them. So that's something I'm going to be doing today and tomorrow, and so very exciting. It was very exciting. A great group, great questions. But a number of them did ask me about infectious diseases, and so we thought it would be a great thing for me to maybe address that somewhat on the radio show today. We had people asking me about Lyme disease. There were several people there struggling with that. People had questions about MRSA. People had questions about plantar warts. So I thought that would be some good things for me to address because there's probably lots of other people that are your listeners that are also interested in those topics.
Well, we're going to get to those. I don't want you just to drop this thing. I know that even though it caught you by surprise and you'd love to have the month to prepare, you're one of the few people that are prepared at the drop of a hat, Susie, to jump in and tell this story and not miss much. I know you'd like the ability to have prepared, but you are prepared. You're always prepared, and you're able to go off in so many directions, like I have said, at the drop of a hat, that you're the perfect person that can fill in. There aren't very many people that can pull that off. You're one of the few that could, because you're so well versed in this topic. So, yes, it was an accident, but maybe it was an accident by design, because you'd have languished trying to prepare so much and gotten worked up over it. You didn't have time to get worked. You had to drive. You had to get there. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So your mind was had to be occupied with not hitting other cars while you were a little jumpy, I'm sure. But the moment I heard that you pinch hit it, I knew you were the right person. I'm glad to hear you did it, and that you'll be following up with these individuals that have further interest and further questions. There's no doubt in my mind. Folks, if she promised you she was going to do something, you can count on it getting done. And I say that because I've known her for so long. So thank you, Susie, for your pinch hitting. Dr. Boyd Haley, I guess he's coming next June, or he's coming June, right? Next month? I think he's going to.
I don't know.
I think that's the way I heard it, but I'll hear from Sylvia this week if that in fact will be the case, where he's switched out and he'll be occupying your slot because you already occupied his. Anyway, I'll find out more about it before I speak out of turn. But let's move into where you thought that the listeners wanted to go when you presented the other night, which was infectious diseases. And you're right, there's a whole bunch of them going around. And these medicinal herbs and essences that, especially the ones that Young Living is involved with, have a potential for great help. I'll let you take it from there and build this up in the way you'd like to, but how do you see essential oils playing a role in either preventing or hastening the course of a particular kind of infectious disease? Go for it.
Okay. Well, the beauty of essential oils is that one of their jobs within the plant is to keep the plant healthy, and to keep the plant free of infection, free of mold, free of parasites, and so the constituents within these oils are really rich, and they're very complex. So unlike an antibiotic that's synthetically made and only has a set recipe, so to speak, essential oils have a lot of elements in them that are very antibacterial, but also make it difficult for a particular strain of bacteria to figure out the essential oil and become resistant to it. And so things like MRSA, they've been actually doing studies. There's actually a professor at a local university here that has been studying the cinnamon oil. And this is, if you go to PubMed, you'll see that cinnamon oil is actually being studied quite a bit. And that is very, very effective against MRSA and against staph infection. And cinnamon oil is one of the oils that's actually in a blend that's called Seed by Young Living. And that's actually a blend of cinnamon, clove, eucalyptus, rosemary, and lemon. And that blend is extremely antibacterial, viral, antimicrobial. So one of the things that we've been discovering is that that blend synergistically really works, has been known to work better on MRSA and staph than even the traditional drugs. And it's getting a lot of attention. And it can be that, people will use it, diffusing it. Some hospitals have actually been starting to diffuse it in the hospitals because it's been keeping instances of, infectious diseases down and the spread of those diseases. When my father actually was in the hospital with colon surgery, I would go into the hospital, and my mother actually was doing the same thing, and every time I would visit with him, I would pull his socks off, put some thieves oil on the bottom of his feet, and put his socks back on. And after, being in the hospital for 2 separate surgeries on his intestines and going in and out of the hospital for various treatments, he never contracted any additional problem. Never up with a staph infection or MRSA or any other infection throughout. And he had pretty serious colon surgery. So that was very exciting to me, to just know that he didn't have those complications.
Mm-hmm.
And just to kind of give people a quick heads up of how why is it called seed oil? That's a strange name. It's actually named after the recipe itself. It's actually a recipe that was used by 4 brothers during the Middle Ages, during the Black Plague in France, whose family came from a family that used herbs and oils, and they were very familiar with the antibacterial properties of the oils. So they would mix this together, rub themselves down with the oils, and then they were breaking into people's homes and stealing from them while they were dying of the plague, or they had died. They were not contracting the disease. So when they finally caught them, they basically asked for the recipe, and they posted it around France. And that was one of the things that was said to help basically end the plague. And so this recipe is something that's on the internet. People can get it, but Young Living has taken it and actually made it into a blend and called it seed, after them.
What a great story.
Yeah.
Hey, look, you do, as we can have happen sometimes. You don't mind taking questions, do you, Susie? You can sort of put a period at the end of what you just said and pick up where you left off, right? It won't harm you in any way?
Oh, that'd be great.
Because we got callers that may want to get at you. We got one right now. Let's let them come on in the store. Hello, welcome aboard. You with Susie Weiss. Go right ahead.
Hi, Dr. Courtney.
Hi.
I have a question for Susie. I wanted to know what the name of her thyroid and adrenal formula is, and how she would take it.
Okay.
And I believe that's what she talked about at the meeting. But I also wanted to know what she can make a recommendation for circulation, whether it be the oil or a supplement.
Great question.
Those are great questions. Well, first, to address the thyroid supplement that Young Living sells that I have used successfully, and I know many others have, it's called Thyromin. So it's Thyromin, Thyromin. And that is actually designed to help with both thyroid and adrenal glands. And the way that it helps with thyroid is you're taking it right before you go to sleep. So the idea is that your body will not work on the thyroid. It's not able to heal the thyroid until you're actually asleep. So basically, the recommendation on the bottle is to take 2 capsules in the evening, basically as you're heading into bed. And then your body will use it while you're sleeping to help the thyroid. When you want to feed the adrenal glands, you'd actually take 1 capsule in the morning then. And depending on how depleted someone's thyroid is, this is a supplement that has been known to really kind of jumpstart thyroid if it's very low functioning. So I shared at the meeting, and this is what I've done, and this is what Gary Young has recommended, is that you take your temperature with a basal thermometer under your left armpit every morning and record it. And then after a week or 2 weeks, 10 days, take the average. Your average temperature, if your thyroid is functioning properly, should be 97.8. And when I started the protocol, mine was 96.5. So the idea is basically to take enough Thyromin to actually boost that temperature, get it to hold at 97.8, then you can start diminishing the dosage until your thyroid is maintaining itself. And because we live in a world where there's lots of things that feed on our thyroid, between chlorine, electromagnetic fields, different things are very hard on our thyroid. Sometimes I still need to supplement my thyroid every day. I still feed it regularly. And this particular supplement is a great blend of bovine extracts, pituitary, adrenal, that actually help with, building up the thyroid. So
there's actually the glandulars in there.
There are.
Okay. And by the name of it, Thyromin, does that mean there's also minerals?
Well, there's actually oils in it. So there's myrtle. And actually, you know what? I have my bottle. I'll actually read to you what's in the capsules. So there's different elements in here. There's actually parsley. There's actually a thyroid powder, L-triosine. Again, the pituitary extract, adrenal extract, L-cysteine, L-cysteine, peppermint, spearmint, myrtle, and myrrh. Essential oils or plants. So it's a unique supplement. Myrtle oil is also one that people will use to help boost their thyroid, and that's actually in the oil form, something you can just put right on the thyroid area of the neck. People have found great success with that. And adrenal gland aid, just do it in the morning, again, so you're kind of nourishing things at different times of the day.
Yeah, because I was going to say, if I just did it for the thyroid purpose, like before bed, would it still give me energy for the day?
Well, again, when you're feeding a particular part of the body and you're encouraging that gland to work better, then it should definitely be helping you during the day, even though it's fixing it or working with it or enhancing its abilities at night. Your thyroid obviously works with all your other glands in the body to bring about balance. So when your thyroid is functioning properly, then your other glands are going to function properly. Your hormones.
I guess I always thought
are balanced.
Like the other supplements I've taken for thyroid have been during the day, and I always thought your thyroid was kind of supposed to rest during the night. Or is my thinking?
I would say my understanding is that your body can't actually work on your thyroid, or your thyroid isn't your body fixes your thyroid or works with your thyroid at night.
Sleeping. Okay.
So if you actually take, and this is something I've experienced, but if you take the Thyromin and then realize you forgot to do something, and you get back out of bed and you start washing dishes or you start, doing something else for enough time, that basically the Thyromin will will feed your adrenal glands at that point. And then you're going to find it very difficult to fall asleep. Because now you've got something, you've got something going that's keeping you awake.
Okay.
So, and the second question you had was about
like circulation to extremities, and this would be for me and a diabetic who has the microcirculation is very compromised, and so my extremities, like especially the feet and the lower legs, are like reddish purple. And now my mother has problems with wound healing. And a previously traumatized, like she had fell down and she had some trauma to her ankle. And so every so often it opens up, and she's really trying to improve circulation there.
Okay, well, oils that are very good for circulation, cypress oil is one that's known to be very good with helping with circulation. Black pepper is another one that's very good for circulation. And then there's an oil called helichrysum, which is actually really good for the heart, for circulation. It's actually good for nerve repair. So those are the things it's been known to help with.
How do you pronounce the last one?
Helichrysum is Helichrysum.
Okay.
And I probably didn't spell that right. I'd have to look it up, actually. I'm trying to do it in my mind. But.
And those are 3 separate ones. And then would you just rub it on the spot where the circulation is, kind of slow?
I know people have taken like cypress oil and used it, on their, taken it, rubbed it on their hands, and then rubbed it on their feet. Okay. Another thing that's a supplement that's very good for circulation is sulfurzyme, and that's one that actually is very good for helping replace natural sulfur, MSM, in the intestinal area, which then actually helps with keeping the blood vessels flexible and cleaner, working better. And so that's been one that people have found. It actually helps reduce inflammation in the body, which then allows the blood vessels to not be so constricted. So that's, again, that's a supplement that people who have any kind of arthritis or rheumatoid arthritis have found to be very helpful. and it actually reduces their pain, or has reduced people's pain. Again, I'm not prescribing or diagnosing, but I'm kind of sharing what this is created for by Young Living, and then also just what it has done for others.
And that's sulfurzyme.
Sulfurzyme.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And if you again, if you want to give me a call or call the office, we can kind of help you figure out how to be able to order that.
There you go.
What's your number?
My number is 740-632-5159. And I will be doing scans at the office this Thursday if you're interested too.
Okay, it's 70. Okay.
Pardon me?
At what time is that?
You'd have to call for an appointment.
Okay.
I'll only be there for the appointments that I have.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you so much.
All right, there you go. Was in the audience, huh? And look at the interest, okay, that you sparked, Susie. Great answers to those questions, and I'm sure those who are in the audience and look at their own particular medical situation may end up being in your group. You should talk about your groups, by the way, because you're coming to my office each and every first Thursday of the month for a group meeting for those that want to learn more, and then you come back, as you're going to do this week, to meet with those who have scheduled appointments with you to be scanned. Why don't you take the time to describe what happens in each situation?
Okay, that's great. The Zyto Compass scan is what I'm doing this week, and that is a scan that simply uses a galvanized skin response. People put their hand on a hand cradle. It basically is using the different pathways in the body, acupuncture, acupressure, meridians in the body, and it's basically asking the body questions and then recording those responses, and it's determining what areas of the body are out of balance, and then it's basically going to run the signatures for Young Living products again into the body and determine which of those products bring those out of balance areas back into balance. And so it is a technology that is used by doctors with their protocols. It's also used by various different natural healing companies. I'm using it with Young Living's products specifically, and then it gives that person recommendations as to what products might be most beneficial, might be preferred by their body at this time. And so they can take that information and kind of use it as product support technology, to determine, based on what they know about their body, their doctor may be working with them on, what would be most beneficial to them to maybe, kind of up their game a little bit, get themselves moving a little more quickly to a better, healthier, version of themselves.
How long does that scan take, Susie?
The scan itself takes about 20 minutes. I've been leaving about an hour for each appointment, or 45 minutes, because we end up talking quite a bit, and I end up kind of just giving them, more information about essential oils and about the products that are recommended, and kind of help them put together a game plan, that sort of thing. So we want to leave enough time that people don't feel like they're getting just a little information and then, kind of on their way. So.
Oh, I can attest to the fact that won't happen when you're involved.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, what about that?
The office for, however long. I've been starting at 10 traditionally and ending by 4. So I'll be there for as long as I have appointments. So again, people would just want to call me, and my number is 740-632-5159, and that way we can, I can set up the appointments so that they're, spaced apart, and people aren't waiting. So.
All right. Now that's that when you come like this week, and this is scan week, and if you're probably already filled. By the way, do you have some additional slots that you can fill, or are you pretty much filled up?
No, I actually do have spots available.
All right, so folks, you're hearing her. She's got some slots. She can take care of you this week. Then on the first Thursday of the month, you do something a little different. People have interests around this thing called essential oils, and you put together a great program for them. Describe this free program that you offer. I think the last group I saw, you had like 10 or 12 people in it, sitting around in a circle, all learning about essential oils. How does that go?
Oh, it's a lot of fun. I basically it starts at 2 o'clock. It goes from 2 till 3:30, and what we do is, we basically talk about essential oils, just like you said, and describe what they do, how they work, and then basically I just pack oils around so people can smell them, try them. I do give them some handouts so they can go home with, some of the everyday oils and know exactly how they should use them if they're going to be trying them for specific, everyday enhancements and ailments and whatever. And so they leave with a good knowledge base, a better understanding of what are essential oils, and then what makes a pure therapeutic essential oil, and then, basically it starts their journey. And I think, it's a lot of fun. We really have a good time together, and people do definitely up their knowledge base quite a bit after being with us. And on that particular day, the first Thursday of the month, I will do scans earlier in the day for anyone who would want to scan. Maybe they've already been to a presentation. They want to meet me before that meeting. So when I'm taking the drive, about an hour drive. Once I'm there, I'm happy to be there longer most of the day and fill the time. So.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Susie Weiss comes to the office twice a month. If you want to learn more about essential oils, you want to come to her first session. That's first Thursday of the month. It just makes more sense to me to do it that first, and you really appreciate what you're about to become involved with. And then in this third Thursday format, actually people get so interested they actually want to get an assessment of how they may be able to benefit from essential oils from a personal perspective, and that's where that scanning comes along. Both programs are working very well. I find that the patients are really happy that you're coming here, Susie. I'm glad you are. I'm glad, by the way, that you were the pinch hitter out there last Thursday night, because you were one of the few people that actually, in an a cappella fashion, could pick up that and run with it, and you certainly did. I think that you're going to be finding that the response is going to keep on coming at you from that one presentation. They'll be bringing you back up there in Oakmont, I'm sure, and we have you here twice a month for those who are already interested. So I want to thank you, Susie, for coming aboard today. I'll look forward to seeing you on Thursday this week. And I hope people give the phone number again, by the way, why don't you give it one more time for those that may want to be involved with those scans.
It's 740-632-5159. And I'll look forward to talking with them.
Okay. You got bongers in the background saying it's our time out of here. Hope you enjoyed our little encounter today and the look-see with Susie Weiss. We'll see you on Wednesday. And have more to talk about the AHEMA group by then. Till then, Dr. Dennis Courtney with Susie Weiss saying so long for AIM Impact on Your Health.